This watch has been sitting on my desk since November 2020. That's the last 3.5-4 months, and I've been looking at it, I've been wearing it, I've been looking at it again, I've been experiencing it, and I haven't shared a review on this watch yet because there's been something that's bugging me about this watch, and I really wanted to share my honest opinion on it. I thought, you know what, today's that day. So today we're going to review this DS-1 Powermatic 80 from Certina. Okay, welcome back guys. So as you can see here, we've got the Certina DS-1. It's a wonderful looking watch. In fact, I love the look of this watch. I love its case shape. I love everything about this watch, the way it's designed, its symmetry, its balance. It's a really pleasing looking watch. But like I said in the intro, there's a couple of things that have been bugging me about this, and I really wanted to share my honest opinion. So I've been experiencing it. In fact, this is not my watch. A friend of mine dropped this off in November last year, and I've been looking at it, I've been wearing it, I've been sort of mulling over, what's wrong with it, what's right with it. And look, there's so many good things about this watch that I love. Seriously, I really love about its case dimensions, its look, its beautiful dial, its symmetry, everything. But something was bugging me. Something was really bugging me about this watch. So today I'm going to share that with you guys. But before we get on to that, let's have a close look at this watch. Basically, if you look at the dial, it says Certina 1888. So Certina has been manufacturing mechanical watches since 1888. It's a company from Switzerland. We're now in 2021, so it's a company that's been established for 133 years. So we're getting here a product that's not only beautifully finished, exceptional detail, but a really reliable product. So the watch itself is absolutely stunning. As far as its look, as far as that case shape, the curves, the combination between high polish and brushing, I really like the way the light falls on this watch, what it's doing with it, the way that it seems to just change its mood in different lighting conditions. That is a big plus. It's got a lot of visual appeal, and I like it when watches, they're not just two-dimensional. There's a three-dimensional character to this watch, which is really, really pleasing. So that's a big plus on this unit. For me, I really like the watch's design. I think that Certina has really thought this watch through, and that it's small touches, small little things that seem to work well and gel with one another in harmony. For example, let's look at the symmetry and the balance of the dial. It's perfect. You've got the date being placed at 6 o'clock. It's further enhanced with the vertical and horizontal lines that extend from the center of the dial outwards. So there's perfect symmetry of this watch with your logo at the top, your DS-1 Powermatic 80 chronometer at the bottom. So really nicely placed. It gives you just enough to show that you've got a quality piece in there without overcluttering. So wonderful to see that. The watch features a subtle dome in that sapphire crystal, and it's beautiful. It just seems to be that classic feel, just enough. You can see the sapphire protruding at the edge of the case. I tell you what, the clarity of that crystal is fantastic. So I like the way it's playing with the light, and the anti-reflective coating seems to be just coming in and out occasionally. Really, really nice. A good experience. Now, if we turn the watch over, you can see there's an exhibition case back. And the watch features a movement based on an ETA 2824-2. The main difference though is that this one features 80 hours power reserve. And the way Certina has achieved this is by lowering the beat rate down from 28,800 beats per hour down to 21,600 beats per hour. Or in other words, from 4 Hz down to 3 Hz. So although this is now a low beat movement, it gains the benefit of a longer 80-hour power reserve, as well as it's also regulated to chronometer specs, which on the time grapher, this piece does not disappoint. It yields results between 0 and -1 seconds per day. So a wonderful, reliable, solid movement. And it's great to see, because with 80 hours power reserve, you can wear this, 1-2 days, take it off, put it on a couple of days later, 3 days later, you've still got power reserve in this. And I've noticed that about this watch. I've been having it on the desk. I look at it, I've been wearing other watches in rotation, then several days later, I look at this watch and it's keeping great time, and it's still got power reserve, so which has been wonderful. So I've been grabbing it on and off and enjoying it, which has been great. But let's get on to the specifications of this watch, its case dimensions. So basically you've got a case diameter of 40mm with a case height of 13mm. The lug to lug distance I measure at 49.5 and a lug width of 21 mil. So the watch itself presents beautifully. 40 mil is nothing, guys. Honestly, it wears really well. I've got a 7-inch wrist here, as you can see, and it seems to sit quite well. The lug to lug distance of 49.5 from there to there is not too bad. It seems to fit nicely on my wrist, but again, the 13 millimeter, as it suggests, it doesn't actually sit like a 13 mil. It sits relatively flat on the wrist, which is something that I like about this watch. So it presents really well on the wrist. Now, the movement has excellent anti-magnetic properties by utilizing a balance spring made from Certina's trademark material Nivicron. This Swiss-made balance spring has a titanium base, which also makes it extremely resistant to temperature fluctuations as well as shock resistance. So the watch is wonderful. Like I said, it's a reliable watch. It's beautifully finished. It's got a great little movement in it with fantastic power reserve. But there are some problems. Like I said, all watches have their pluses and minuses. For me, this particular watch, unfortunately, its greatest strength seems to be its greatest weakness as well. And that's that symmetry, and that's that dial. As you can see, the dial is a sunburst dial, and you get darker areas and brighter areas as well, and we seem to lose those hands in that dial in differing lighting conditions. So the legibility issue is basically the horizontal and vertical design lines that come out from the center, and the silver tone hands, they just seem to, I have to look twice, sometimes 3 times, to actually read the time on this watch. And that presents as a bit of a problem, because although this is a beautiful looking watch, I struggle to look down at my wrist for the first time and get an accurate read of the time. So that is a bit of a problem. Now, something like this could have easily been rectified with different tonality in that dial for added contrast between those hands, because it's a damn shame. The watch is lovely. Now, the second negative that I found about this watch is that 21 mil lug width. It's just a shame, because such a beautiful watch, this can put people off in trying to select different choices of straps or aftermarket straps for this particular watch. And over here, as you can see, the owner, my friend who's got this, he's basically put it on a aftermarket leather strap. It does a nice job, but it would have been great to have a greater variety. As ideally 20 mil would have been perfect for these. And probably the third and last negative that I can find of this watch is that crown. 2 things. One, it's not a screw down crown. I know the watch offers 100 meters of water resistance, so it would have been nice to be a screw down crown, but on a positive note, it does feature double O-ring seal. So it does an excellent job with water resistance. Even if the crown was pulled out and you were to get this wet, it still seals, which is great. But just for reassurance, I'm the sort of old school where I'd like to have a screw down crown, but the positive note of it is the winding experience is fantastic. The crown is beautiful. It is a little bit small. Could have been a tad wider just for easier gripping, but again, it's something that you're probably not going to grab a lot because of the fact that it is a chronometer and it is very, very accurate, which is great. So on the internet, the last I saw of this watch, they were basically clearing them out on Joma's shop. They were $1,200. I think they were clearing them out at about $449. That's a bargain. That's a steal for the type of watch you're getting. For the finishing, for the exceptional fit finish, quality control, it's amazing, it's beautiful. The attention to detail, it's absolutely wonderful. But like I said, guys, it's ironic that the watch's greatest strength, which is its dial and symmetry and look, is also its greatest weakness. So I wanted to share that with you guys. The Certina DS-1, still a value proposition. If you can get over that legibility issue. For me, I struggle. I really like to look at watches and get, boom, an instant impact of what I'm seeing. Although it's not a busy dial, the hands can get lost in those lines as well as in that sunburst effect. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you again, and we'll see you in the next video.